This past Friday during the Stockade Roundup, the Lloydminster Agricultural Exhibition Association handed out their annual Cattlemen of the Year award. This year's winners were Harry and Jean Lake and their family. They are fourth generations of the Lakes to work on the farm. Harry and Jean have been active volunteers for various sporting, church, and agricultural boards and committees. They were truly honored to be given the award.
Crowd there who are present here today to help us celebrate this award, and we are truly blessed with great neighbors and great friends, and we look forward to visiting with you all later. So in closing, I'd just like to thank the Ag Society and Lloydminster Exhibition again for this award. This is a very special day for us that we remember and cherish for a long time. Thank you.
The Cattlemen of the Year award is presented to those who have made an outstanding contribution to the cattle industry, as well as their commitment to rural life and involvement in the community. As we mentioned, the Stockade Roundup took place last week at the Lloydminster Exhibition. The final event was the Supreme Show Friday night. Here's Thomas Wildman with more.
It had been a long 4 days, but we finally had our champions. 8 bulls and 8 females entered into the ring, one representing each breed. The 2 judges who adjudicated the cattle all week then had to decide on a final supreme champion. They then shrunk the field down to a final 4 females and bulls. The atmosphere was tense, the lights were bright, $1,000 were on the line, and finally, first in the females, the Simmental pair Mater Darlin 4-H of Twin Springs Farm from Lloydminster took home the gold, a big highlight for the relatively new purebred Simmental breeders.
Yeah, I think it's going to help big time. I mean, it's going to get our name out there so everyone starts to hear who Twin Springs is, because we've been going at it for 3 years now trying to buy some of the top genetics, and I think this cow's going to put us on higher side of things.
Then for the Supreme Champion Bull was another local winner with RPY Payne's Hitman 67J of Payne Livestock.
So it's kind of exciting actually, because this bull he's home raised, and the cow that he's out of was actually Grand Champion female here a few years ago, and then we've just kind of been marketing her embryos and flushing that cow, and a couple other bulls that we've raised out of the same cow we've sold semen on, and this is kind of the herd sire of this bull we've raised and sold him to a breeding herd, and now potentially this bull will go to another breeding herd, and it's just, yeah, it's good for the Limousin breed, and I think the new owners or potential owners that want to purchase semen or purchase this bull are going to be really excited about it.
And that will do it for this year's Lloydminster Stockade Roundup. It certainly was an excellent show, and I had an amazing time covering it. For Primetime Local News, I'm Thomas Wildman.
Now it's time for a look into the PTLN archives in this week's edition of Retrospect. We begin Retrospect this week in 1992 with a local organization looking to keep Lloydminster kids warm.
Coats for Kids is up and running for another winter season. The program was somewhat in trouble this year, as no organization seemed to have the manpower to handle it. However, Lloydminster's Native Friendship Center has picked up the reins and things are going well.
Well, we've had really good response in people donating jackets and also some boots and mittens and toques for the children. And we've had people stop in for volunteering to help us pick up the coats, and we've had organizations and businesses offering to help clean the coats, donate coat racks.
Since the program kicked off last Wednesday, over 50 coats of all colors and sizes have been dropped off. Bins are set up in grocery stores around the city. Although so far the response has been favorable, sometimes the drop-off bins seem to act more as garbage cans for local residents. Organizers are crossing their fingers the uptrend continues, as they don't yet know how many needy kids they have to provide for. Elisa and Leanne are operating Coats for Kids as part of their youth outreach focus at the Friendship Center. They hope by interacting with local children and teens, they'll be able to identify those who need help.
We do see how little they wear sometimes, and that it isn't a big concern for them, even though they may feel cold. And I guess that we just want people to know that there is a need, and there are young people, teenagers included, that really need jackets for the winter time.
In past years, there has been a lack of clothes coming in for the teenage group. By concentrating on that this year, officials hope to make a difference. People are also encouraged to drop off more than just jackets.
And it's nice if they don't want to button up their jacket all the way to the top, if they have a scarf or a head thing or a toque or mitts. And we've had a great response with that so far. Even some very brand new things with tags still on them that people are donating just because they know that there is a need. A lot more coats for young men, for boys, and for teenage boys. We do receive more for girls predominantly. That's all right, we hope to see lots. It's just the beginning.
Local schools are also getting involved, providing lists of students who could use a warm jacket. Organizers say anyone in need can stop by the Friendship Center, and if you want to make donations to the cause, bins will remain in stores until mid-December. Julie Matthews, NewsHour.
And now we fast forward to 1997, with the city debating over what would become Lloydminster's most well-known landmark.
Lloydminster's long-awaited border marker design was unveiled to the public late last summer. It features 5 100-foot-tall steel markers that officials hope will create a curtain of light. Last night, a majority of council members voted to go ahead with the tendering process.
Border marker is probably one of the more misunderstood projects the city has been looking at over the past while.
Councillor Rod Pillman says the confusion stems from funding of the project and whether or not it will actually go ahead as planned.
We're not at that point yet of deciding whether we're going to proceed with a border marker. We still have those options available. What we need to know is that, one, the consultant has to be within the constraints of the budget that we set some time ago. There could be no mistake that we're not going to fund it beyond the $421,000.
And while a maximum price tag has been set, Councillor Barb Foster feels tendering locally will help to bring the project in under budget.
I think that what you can tender in Edmonton is one price, and what you can tender in Lloydminster will certainly have a bearing on the final cost.
Some members of council have mixed feelings on whether the project should go through to completion. However, Herb Flieger says this is an opportunity that should not be lost.
It was the same thing when Bud Miller Park was announced. There was a lot of opposition to it. But you try to take that park away from the citizens today, and your life wouldn't be worth a dime. And so I treat this the same way.
I'm not against the concept of a border marker, but I don't think we as a council are showing much fiscal responsibility.
Ilston Platt is one of 2 councillors to vote against the tendering process last night and says such a move reflects badly on the province of Alberta.
In view of the fact that they are in debt considerable amounts at this time, but they're still spending the money. And I think somewhere along the way, local governments, provincial governments, and federal governments are going to have to pull in the horns.
Funding for the $421,000 project will be cost-shared by both the city and the Alberta government. With council approving the tendering process, the city is buying time for deferring the provincial funding, which would otherwise end this December.
The tenders will be brought back to council for further consideration, and if at that point council members feel that we should defer or cancel the project, they're quite able to make that decision at that time.
Michael Higgins, NewsHour.
And this has been a look back at this week in Retrospect.
Retrospect this week is brought to you by Webb's Ford. Worth your while to drive the extra mile. Webb's Ford in Vermilion.
And now it's time for us to check in once again with Shelby Clark for an extended look at weather.
Thanks so much again there, JCS. Now taking another extended look at your weather forecast. We'll be starting off with our central zone of the provinces to kind of see where we are sitting at temperature-wise. Of course, on the Alberta side, we have cooled down quite a bit compared to what we have been looking at last week. So definitely, that chill has been dropping down lower and lower as we head more into the winter season. But kind of expected it, of course. We are pretty used to that being here in Canada, but we are seeing those double-digit temperatures. We're even getting closer to that -20 mark, especially for Edson, Jasper, and Whitecourt, just at that -16 point right now. -15 for Rocky Mountain House and over here in Red Deer, while it is -13, 14 for Athabasca and Edmonton. So definitely looking a lot more cooler on our Alberta side as we are getting more into the season. And going over to our Saskatchewan side, they are looking not too bad for those conditions, slightly warmer compared to our Alberta side. -10, -11 for Melfort and Saskatoon, while they are seeing that -12 for North Battleford and over in Prince Albert. Meadow Lake is just a degree warmer compared to us here in the border city with that -13, and seeing that -12 as well up in Cold Lake. So definitely have cooled down in our central area. But as we go over to our northern zone, as you can see, they are looking a lot more cooled down compared to us. Most are seeing that -13, -14, so matching with us in our central zone with those conditions. But as we go higher up to Stony Rapids and Uranium City, closer to that -20 with that -18 and -19 in Stony Rapids. So definitely on our Saskatchewan side, they are looking a lot more cooled down in our northern zone. And going over to our Alberta side, they have cooled down quite a bit as well, with most spots just seeing -17 and Slave Lake and Fort McMurray just reaching that -15. So as we are in the winter season, we're kind of expecting this as we are getting a little bit closer to that -20 mark, unfortunately, and we are seeing a lot more snowfall. But I think we're all kind of getting prepared for it as long as we have, you know, those winter tires on and all that and being safe. Going over to our southern zone now to check them out. Seeing that -10 for Medicine Hat. So Medicine Hat is definitely looking a lot warmer compared to the rest. Seeing that -14 up in Coronation, while it is -15, 16 for Calgary and Lethbridge. And as we look over at Banff, they are seeing the coolest conditions compared to the rest with that -18 degree mark. Going over to our Saskatchewan side here, they are looking the warmest compared to every spot we have been looking at. Most spots are just at that single-digit point. -12 for Kindersley, and they start to warm up from there. Seeing the -8 and 9 in most spots with Swift Current, Moose Jaw, and Yorkton. So looking quite warm in our Saskatchewan side in our southern zone, and then seeing -6 and 7 for Regina and Estevan. So definitely not struggling too much over on this side with those conditions for today. But as we look at some more spots throughout our night, as we will expect to head into Tuesday here, we are going to be cooling down quite a bit for our evening lows. A low of -12 that Meadow Lake will be expecting tonight. Most spots will be seeing that low of 15 and 16, and Isla Cross will be kind of in the middle there with that low of -13. So we are all going to be expecting those double-digit points with our evening low temperatures. But as you can see, most spots are also expecting those flurries to continue through the evening. So everyone's got to make sure they got their shovels ready, because we're going to be needing to do some digging for sure. Most are kind of expecting around 5 to 10 centimeters. 20 centimeters expected for Provost tonight, while Isla Cross will be expecting a little bit more minimal with 2 to 4 centimeters, and Paradise Hill will also be expecting that 20 centimeters. So some spots are going to be hitting pretty hard tonight. Looking at some more here, definitely some cooler conditions with Murnum looking at a low of -17. Calgary will be expecting the coolest tonight with a low of -21. Very cold, so make sure you got your furnaces ready, extra blankets ready. Pearson, Unity, and Wainwright will be looking at a low of -15, 16. But as we could see, most spots will also be expecting high chances of some flurries throughout the evening, even 25 centimeters for Unity and Wainwright expected. So I think everyone's not too excited for that. And ending off with our 7-day forecast for here in the border city, we are going to be expecting some more flurries tomorrow, around 50% chance, then cooling down through the rest of the week with -15, 14 Wednesday and Thursday, and we will be warming up surprisingly for the weekend, so just get ready. That's all I have for now. Our Jason Mack, our Hammer News coming up after the break.
I'm proud to introduce to our program today Mayor of Cold Lake, Craig Popeland. Thank you so much for joining us today here on Primetime Local News.
Well, thank you for having me.
So council allocated $625,000 to a shelter program. Can you talk a bit more about the program?
Yeah, for sure. So, you know, it's no secret that we've had a lot of homeless people living inside the downtown core of Cold Lake and around the surrounding area, living in the woods and stuff. So council made it a priority to let's let's get into this. So, you know, it's really not a municipality responsibility, but, you know, the volunteer group called John Howard that's in our community trying to deal with the homeless people, really we're at their wits' end of where they could go to for funding. So council's made a decision to, we have a series of land, so we've allocated a lot for John Howard purpose. So the city owns the lot, and we're going to come in and put in the infrastructure, water, sewer, etc., the power, and we've also purchased a drill camp that was for sale, and we're going to locate the drill camp on top of the infrastructure, and from there the city will work with the John Howard Group to provide a mat program, which is it's not very comfortable, but the idea is get people out of the extreme cold and into shelter for the night, feed them, and you know, work with them to try to work on improving their life. And some of these people are, you know, at the wit's end and need some help on, you know, some of them don't even have bank accounts or funding. And so the social workers will work with the clients and to try to improve the quality of life for them.
So has there already been like a really incredible response within the community to this allocation of funds?
You know, it's very mixed because, you know, people have seen the people on the streets, and what we're trying to do is, you know, we're really concerned about the downtown business group. A lot of the homeless people have been sort of preventing, customers aren't comfortable in coming into some of the businesses. So a lot of businesses have been reaching out to us and saying, please, council, do something. We also have had a lot of homeowners very concerned because some of the individuals living in tents have caused fires right around the community, and also have come into their community and created, you know, are doing crime. And so, you know, we're coming in many different facets right now. One of the initiatives we're going to come in is to introduce a bylaw that there can't be any loitering or individuals in any of the downtown core back alleys. So from midnight till 6, there'll be a curfew. And that'll be one tool that we can give the enforcement agencies to maybe move these individuals along and also write a ticket if they're caught in the back alleys, because that's where a lot of crime is happening. A lot of homeless people are also setting up camps inside the business community. And then what happens is the workers are afraid to go to work early in the morning because the individuals are right in the backyard, back alley of a lot of the businesses. So it's a tough situation right now. Some residents aren't happy that council has done this. They feel it's not a municipal responsibility, but you know, council, we're really at, there's really not many options for us right now. We also have another organization called Cookham's House, put on by the Cold Lake Friendship Center, that also will be servicing clients in need.
So with the bylaw that's being created and the funds that have been allocated, what are the further steps council will be taking in the coming months?
One of the other steps we did was we funded money for John Howard to hire 1 or 2 social workers that'll actually work on the streets of Cold Lake and surrounding, and work with the clients to try to work with them on improving their quality of life. The other option, you know, we haven't finished budget right now, but you know, we're looking at enhancing or at least keeping the security program that we have in downtown. We have a private security company that is contracted out, or we can enhance our bylaw officers or enhance another RCMP position. So council hasn't dove into the enforcement part of our budget yet, but that's a big conversation. But you know, these are all ways to work to try to make sure that the safety of everybody in Cold Lake is top of priority, and working with the clients that have come to Cold Lake, want to live downtown, is to try to get them out of the element. So it's a 2-prong approach, and eventually the province has to step in here and deal with the people that have addictions. It's very hard to get anybody into a treatment bed in Alberta. And the Northeast Alberta is very, very underserved when it comes to beds in our area.
Well, I'd like to thank you again so much for being here on our program today.
Thank you for having me.
Furniture set and design supplied by Furniture Gallery and Furniture House, downtown Lloydminster.
Joining us today for Primetime Local News is Constable Melanie Flynn with the Lloydminster RCMP. Thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us today.
Well, thanks for having me, Shelby.
Of course, of course. It's always a pleasure to be able to have you on our show, Constable Flynn, because we are going to be speaking about this, and it's not coming up for quite a bit now till February, but here in November, we really wanted to speak on this because it's starting with the recruitment process, and this is for the Lloydminster RCMP Youth Academy. So just wanted to be able to speak with you and help get the word out about what this academy is all about and just kind of explaining what kids can expect with this.
Yeah, so here at the Lloydminster RCMP detachment, we decided to host RCMP Youth Academy. It's been hosted in the past. I think the last one was hosted in 2019. Obviously, COVID hit us in the last couple of years, so we haven't hosted an academy local here in Lloyd. Our Edmonton partners, so our K Division partners, have hosted a few academies or camps over the summer, and we wanted to do one local here again. So we're hosting it February 21st to the 23rd. It's going to look a little different than years past. It's going to be a daytime program only. So I called it a youth academy. Then I thought, well, maybe we should have called it a day camp. So it's daytime only. 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. is what we're hoping to have our participants engaged with us and participating in the academy. And yeah, we're just in the recruitment phase of things. So we're trying to get the word out through the high schools here and through, great partnerships with yourselves to get some applications in.
Well, from what you were saying that it's all about, I'm sure you'll get many applicants that are going to be coming up here. Now, where can people look online and just be able to get involved in this academy?
Well, right now, I've only partnered with the schools. I'm hoping to partner with the city here coming up soon and get it on their event calendar. But for right now, your high schools have the information. So career counselors at Lloydminster Comp, Avery, as well as Holy Rosary have some information on it. There's an application package that looks like this bad boy. So these are going around and you can collect these at your school or by reaching out to myself. So Constable Melanie Flynn at the Lloydminster Detachment. I have an email on some posters that are around the city as well. So there are some posters located at the library, at the service center, at the schools. I've just been posting them around the city to bring awareness to it. And my email address is on there. So you can shoot me an email and I will send the application package to you directly via email. And yeah, and like I said, some of the school counselors have the package on hand. So you could just pick one up at your school as well.
And what would you say that you and the other RCMP are hoping that kids will benefit from participating in this academy, and how did this idea really start up?
Well, it's mainly about positive engagement for police officers and to give an opportunity for youth who are interested in a career in law enforcement or policing a chance to see what it's all about. So we offer kind of exposure to each unit in the RCMP. So we have units traveling in from Edmonton for this. So we'll have our fitness unit coming in, hopefully our emergency response team coming down. We have our police dog unit. They'll be participating. Our general investigation services, our forensic investigation services. So different units. So it'll give some good insight into what a career in law enforcement looks like and the different opportunities, because the RCMP, it's a career like no other. Like you can change it up every so often and go into these specialized units. So we wanted to bring some attention to that to the youth. There is a requirement to be medically and physically fit, of course. There will be some physical components. I think day one, I'm hoping to have our fitness crew coming down out of Edmonton. And then day 2 and day 3, hopefully we'll have a fitness component as well in the agenda for the students so they can participate and do some of the physical requirements of a law enforcement agent.
Well, I think this is a great idea to have this, and I'm sure there's many youth in this community here in Lloydminster that are interested in the RCMP and just kind of figuring out what it's all about and, participating in this academy. And hopefully you will get some future academies after this one and see what else you can come up with. Now, is there more you'd want to add on what people need to know about when it comes to the recruitment process and whatnot?
Yeah, it should be good. Like I said, applicants like requirements are to be between the ages of 15 and 18, be medically, physically fit, and just have an interest in career in law enforcement. Even if you're not sure what you want to do in life at age 15, which is totally understandable, just to see what it's all about it's a great opportunity for even if you're not 100% interested or committed to the RCMP. We're hoping to have the majority of applications in by that date. And I know we're on a week off right now, so that's next week and the week after we'll be taking applications, and you can drop them off back to your school, so back to the main office or to the detachment, or again, scanning it and emailing it to myself with that. My email address is just melanie.flynn@rcmp-grc.gc.ca. So you can email it to that as well. And then we'll review it and hopefully be making selections for participants. We're hoping to get at least 24 participants and have our selections made in December. So, if November 25th comes around and our applications, like we don't have 24, we'll obviously extend it, but we're hoping to set that as a goal.
Perfect. So I hope this really helped get the word out there for the recruitment process and for this academy coming up in February. And you'll be able to partner with the city soon. So please keep us updated. And once again, thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah, thank you, Shelby.
Ending off with another quick look at your 7-day forecast. Get ready for a little bit more snow tomorrow with -11, around 50% chance. So we will be expecting some more snow on top of the heavy snowfall we will be getting this evening. Just be ready. We're going to be seeing some cooler days Wednesday and Thursday with -15, -14. Make sure to layer up. Then we will be warming up slightly for Friday and Saturday for the weekend with -11 Friday, -9 Saturday, and then even seeing -8 and 6 Sunday and next Monday. So just be prepared. We will be warming up soon. All right, thank you so much for that, Shelby, and thank you all for joining us for Primetime Local News as we start another week. We'll see you again tomorrow.